I'm going to do something. So Biden and Obama, between the two of them, spent over $100 million. It was a disaster. Obama, because of the environment, took the water from the Potomac, and it was...
Barack Obama did not begin with raised voices or dramatic gestures. Instead, he let a moment of silence speak first. A large screen in the studio displayed Donald Trump describing a recent agreement as historic, powerful, and unlike any other, repeating that no one could negotiate deals as well as he could. Supporters in the audience applauded as the remarks played. When the video ended, Obama walked onto the stage. The atmosphere shifted almost immediately. He took his seat, waited until the applause settled, and watched the screen with a composed expression. The moderator asked whether he believed the agreement deserved the praise it had received. Obama leaned toward the microphone before answering. "A deal is not successful simply because the person promoting it keeps calling it successful," he said. "It earns that description only if the people who place their trust in it are not the ones left carrying the burden." The audience reacted with loud applause. Rather than criticizing Trump personally, Obama focused on the argument itself. He said that, in his view, announcements often came before supporting evidence, while long-term consequences received far less attention. According to Obama, agreements were frequently presented as complete successes before the public had an opportunity to examine the details. Questions from critics, he argued, were often dismissed before they could be addressed. And if results later fell short of expectations, responsibility was redirected toward sabotage, betrayal, or claims of fake news. Behind him, the screen displayed 3 words: promise, price, proof. Obama pointed first to promise, as footage continued showing Trump presenting the agreement as a major achievement.
Yes, America has made its share of foreign policy mistakes. Our actions have not always matched our rhetoric. We've learned that we can't solve every conflict or stop every atrocity around the globe, but at our...
Obama then shifted his attention to the word price. He asked who would ultimately bear the cost if the promised results failed to materialize. Moving to the final word, proof, he remarked. "This is the part that has not yet been demonstrated." The audience responded with another round of applause. Many viewers watching from home had seen similar political moments before. They had heard ambitious promises, accompanied by limited details, and had experienced situations where official claims of success did not match rising expenses, employment concerns, or everyday challenges. Obama argued that an agreement could receive enthusiastic praise on television while producing very different outcomes for those affected by it. A clip of Trump's response then appeared. Trump criticized Obama personally, calling him jealous, weak, overrated, and unwilling to acknowledge an achievement. Obama listened without interrupting, before replying calmly. "If the agreement is truly strong," he said, "it should be able to withstand honest questions." The audience applauded again. He continued by saying that effective leadership should not avoid public scrutiny. In his view, a president ought to explain who benefits, who bears the costs, what was gained, what concessions were made, and what happens if expectations are not met. If those questions are treated as attacks, he added, perhaps the concern lies not with the questions themselves, but with the agreement. Another clip showed Trump emphasizing leverage, toughness, and financial success. Obama responded by saying that governing is different from business competition. He argued that government decisions affect ordinary people, including workers, farmers, small business owners, veterans, retirees, and families managing everyday expenses. Those individuals, he said, cannot simply redefine negative outcomes by changing the language used to describe them. The room became noticeably quieter. Obama then concluded this section with a final observation. The agreements that receive the strongest praise in a press release are not always the ones that deliver the strongest results. The audience answered with sustained applause. He added that the public image of a dealmaker often depends on emphasizing the ceremonial announcement rather than examining the long-term consequences.
And most of all, when we show through our example here at home that even a country as big and diverse as ours can make democracy work, it turns out all nations, including ours, become...
Obama continued by arguing that leadership should ultimately be judged by its effects on people's lives, rather than by the excitement surrounding an announcement. The audience applauded again, this time more thoughtfully. He said that responsible leaders acknowledge trade-offs instead of pretending every outcome is perfect. They recognize that some groups may benefit, while others require additional support, and they respond to concerns instead of dismissing them as signs of disloyalty. Another response from Trump appeared, featuring additional criticism of Obama, and renewed claims that others envied his achievements. After watching the clip, Obama offered a brief observation. "Notice," he said, "that the focus remains on me, rather than on the people affected by the costs." Many in the audience stood and applauded. By this point, the discussion had shifted away from personalities and toward consequences. Obama emphasized responsibility, while the debate over political image became secondary. He closed his folder before delivering his final remarks. "History does not judge an agreement by the applause it receives on the day it is announced," he said. "It judges whether people's lives are better after it takes effect." The room fell silent before another wave of applause followed. The conversation had changed. Instead of focusing on slogans or celebration, attention turned to measurable outcomes and public impact. Obama ended with a question that summarized his argument. Who ultimately paid the price? After that question, the earlier boasts carried less weight, the personal attacks seemed less significant, and the central discussion became the lasting consequences of the agreement, rather than the claims surrounding it.